Malaria is a life-threatening disease caused by parasites that are transmitted to people through the bites of infected female mosquitoes. About 3.2 billion people are at risk of malaria. Malaria is preventable and curable, and recent efforts have dramatically reduced this disease. Sub-Saharan Africa carries a high share of the global malaria burden. In 2015, the region was home to 89% of malaria cases and 91% of malaria deaths.
So, what are the actions that the Ministry of Public Health has planned to stop the spread of the disease in the population? The World Health Organization, WHO, recommends protection for all people at risk of malaria with effective malaria vector control. There are two forms of vector control. One is insecticide-treated mosquito nets, and the other one is indoor residual spraying. For travelers, malaria can be prevented through chemoprophylaxis, which suppresses the blood stage of malaria infections, thereby preventing malaria disease. Besides, in 2012, the WHO recommended seasonal malaria chemoprevention. We think that insecticides, which are a very good way to battle malaria mosquitoes, can have great repercussions on people's health, because these are chemicals that are entering the human body, and also they can have environmental effects that are damaging our environment.
What are the possible side effects of the vaccine or preventive measure that has been taken? There are currently no licensed vaccines against malaria or any other human parasite. Much of the success in controlling malaria is due to vector control. Vector control is highly dependent on the use of pyrethroids, which are the only class of insecticides currently recommended for ITNs or LLINs. What was the cost of the preventive actions and what was the cost of the corrective actions for those who have already contracted the disease? The cost of preventive actions varies between locations. Clinical costs per episode of malaria averages $3.15 between Ifcara and Manica, and the cost per death $200.65. Direct costs have been estimated to be at least $12 billion per year. The cost in lost economic growth is many times more than that.
What were the policies of vaccination and what was the justification of these policies? Currently, many countries with a high burden of malaria have weak surveillance systems and are not in a position to assess disease distribution and trends, making it difficult to optimize responses and response to outbreaks. The WHO Global Technical Strategy for Malaria 2016 to 2030 provides a technical framework for all malaria endemic countries. It is intended to guide and support regional and country programs as they work towards malaria control and elimination. The strategy sets global targets including reducing malaria case incidence and mortality at least 90%, eliminating malaria in at least 35 countries, and preventing a resurgence of malaria in all countries that are malaria-free.
What was the social, economic, and environmental impact of this event? The treatment of malaria leaves large costs to both individuals and governments. Also, malaria appears to be a disease that may have escaped control because of an overreaction to early environmental concerns about the widespread use of DDT for insecticide spray. Another environmental problem is that there has been found out insecticide resistance. To ensure a timely and coordinated global response to the threat of insecticide resistance, WHO worked with a wide range of stakeholders to develop the global plan for insecticide resistance management in malaria vectors, GPIRM, which was released in May 2012.